This conference will now be recorded.
Morning, everyone. Good evening. My name is Ram. So I'll be helping you to understand a very bit minor details of Salesforce, like what is Salesforce, what is cloud computing, and how is it related, what are the advantages of Salesforce, and in which all industries we can use Salesforce, and finally some job opportunities, and what are we going to learn in this course in future. Post that, we'll see the course content and further details. Okay. So, as everyone knows, so we have, as of now, we are into fourth industrial revolution, that is artificial intelligence. There is one of the key point why, because Salesforce is working very hard in this area. That is where it is getting improvised day by day. Okay. So basically, if you take any application, like may I know why? What do you need by an application? Why do I need an application? Anyone? Why do we need a software application? Hello, Swami Balaji, you are Kanishkita.
Yeah. So applications, we need applications for easy access. Like if you take the banking, right? We no need to. Um, we no need to go to the bank, and we no need to deposit. We can do it from online. So it will make it will make easy our life. So it's just an example. There are a lot of advantages of the apps, but it is one of the things.
Okay. So basically, so you are speaking as an end user, right? Like when you consider it as an end user, for you as an application makes your life easier. The best example that you took is your banking sector. So earlier, like to do a transaction or to apply a loan and all, you have to go to the bank, you have to stand in the queue, do the things manually. But these days, everything can be done in a fingertip, correct? So yes, of course, this is correct. But when you speak from the developer perspective or an organization perspective who developed this application, for them it's a matter of, application is nothing but a resource which generates a revenue in their organization, right? Now, how do I generate a resource through an application? It basically an idea that has popped up in my mind, and based on that, so I did I built something and I started selling it. Let us go with the same thing, whatever Balaji said. That is going with a banking sector application. So earlier, let us say some XYZ person, I've seen that not many people banks, they're opening account, doing transactions, or applying loans. All these things are happening, but everything is happening manually. And it is always a bit of problem for the people who are working in in any organization. Either it might be a public sector or private sector, because for them they won't get holidays. But to do something in the bank, it might be a transaction or applying some documents or anything. If I have a work, easily it used to take around half a day, right? So which means I have to take half the leave. So let's say I've seen this issue everywhere. I thought like, okay, why can't I build something using which a small software application using which customers don't have to come to the bank. They can do the transactions sitting at their home itself. This is the idea that I got. But as of now, considering that I have only a few applications, maybe a few technologies, that is C, C++, or C Sharp, or basic Java, because I'm just going to 1990s and all. So that time what happens? Okay, as even if I have these applications to build, sorry, to these technologies to build this application, I need to get the setup, right? So to store the application or and to host the application, the end users, first thing that I need is servers, right? I need to get the server, and then I need a system which will have all the complicated softwares. It might be C, C++, or whatever the technology that I'm trying to build on which I'm trying to build the application. The technology must be there. I have to define the user access and post the application. When post running it, I need to see whether the reporting is there or not, and how about the security, and everything has to be taken care by me because I'm going to build the application, right? And at the end, I might have to speak with the web designers as well, because in 90s, like, you don't have a separate, none of these tools used to support your mobile applications, correct? So it hard, even if the idea is very small, it hardly takes around a year. Okay, now here there are a lot of issues also. So if you consider a well-known bank, looks like all of you are Indians, a well-known bank in India, that is SBI, right? So I'm assuming I'm building an application for that bank. So I built it, and whenever you are going with a server, right, server will always goes with a user capacity. So server will say that, okay, I can handle only these many number of users. It might be 100,000, 10 lakhs, 1 lakh, sorry, 50 lakhs or whatever. For example, I'll consider that my server will use a maximum of 1,000 people. Okay, because I'm just very much new in the market, no one is aware of this applications and all. I thought, okay, maybe even if I start, and I don't want to invest too much, so I bought a server whose capacity is 1,000. Now, let's say Balaji is my first customer. He started using the application. He felt it was really good. He started. He told his friends, and it slowly got properly advertised in the market. And maybe around 5,000 people wants to use my application because it is making their life much more easier when you compare with doing the same job physically. So yes, the business, at least for me, the business has grown from 1,000 to 2,000, 5,000. But the problem that I'll be facing is the capacity of my server is just 1,000. So what should I do? I can't ask my users to stay back because I just have 1,000 user capacity. And if I leave it at a point of time, 5,000 people will keep on hitting my server for some responses, and my server doesn't know how to respond. Sometimes my either my application might crash or even my server might also crash. So that is when you might have seen a lot many times in your IRCTC portal, maybe 5 years or 6 years back. Every time when you're trying to do book some tickets and all, your portal used to crash, right? So that is because of the user capacity. So only option that I have now is to raise this capacity of my server. So okay, I bought another server, serialized it, or maybe I might have replaced this with a higher server which has huge capacity. So everything is going good. Let's say again the number of people using my application again got doubled, maybe 10,000 or 20,000, keep on doubling it. So why? Because this is the only application that is there in the market and everyone is liking it. So things are going good. So I keep on increasing my server also. But at one point of time, let's say after looking all these things, there is one person called Swami who thought like, okay, I can do much more better than this, and he built another application which has much more advanced features than mine. Then what happens? The number of people using my application will reduce, and the number of people using Swami's application will get increased. So let's say the number of users for my application got fallen back to maybe 500, from maybe around 70,000, 80,000 to 500. So there won't be any issues in the performance, but the problem is I have invested a lot in this hardware, right? Because when you're speaking about server, it's not just a small hard disk, right? I need to set up a room for it. I need to make sure it has all air conditions and networking. I have to hire people, power supplies, everything, and all these things are wasted, right? So that is one of the biggest problems that you'll have in your legacy technologies. And second thing is, as I have set it up on my own in my own organization, unless until my securities are very high, it will be very much easy to hack by the hackers if they know the credentials of my service, right? So these are the couple of issues that this legacy platform will always have. To avoid this, we'll go with cloud computing. So in cloud, what will happen is, first thing is cost effective. That is what your organizations look for. What is this? Here in cloud computing technologies, there will be a service provider sitting somewhere in the world, and he'll say, hey Balaji, if you want to build an application, you come, pay me something, I'll give you a space and license. You just start using my license and build your application. Rest all I will take care. It might be about the security, or it might be about the user capacity, or it might be about the space capacity. Okay. Now, in this cloud computing, we have three different services. One is infrastructure, platform, and software. So infrastructure is the place where only half of the service will be provided, which means they'll just give you stories and they'll maintain the networking and they'll help you with the virtualization. What is this virtualization? So even if it is in cloud computing or your on-premise system, which is your legacy platform, the concept is same. You will have a server, and using that server, you have to host the application to the end user. But the advantage in cloud computing is they have a concept of virtualization. So, which in a very layman terms, they'll have a dynamic memory, the servers that are there in cloud computing. So, what this dynamic memory memorized servers will do? So they will share the application to the end user, but not directly the way that you're doing using your legacy platform. Here in your cloud computing, they will share an image of your application to the end user through cloud. So what will happen? Even if there is any drastic change on your user capacity, what might happen is it might crash the access. It might crash the image or the instance that they are trying to access all the time, but not the actual application, which means it will never have in your actual application will never have any load. So your application is always in a safer hand, even in your server also. Now, what if the number of users gets increased? As it is having this virtualization concept, it automatically increase the number of instances and it will be shared, right, to the end users. And for you, who is even a developer, developing this application, don't even have to care about it. Why? Because it is already taken care by the service provider. Okay. But In this infrastructure as a service, you have to set up your own operating systems or your middleware, and you have to maintain your runtime data, applications, everything. And one of the best example that I can say is your Amazon Web Services. Even AWS is a cloud technology. It is little costly because you have to set up all these things also. What is this middleware? Middleware is a tool which will help you to connect with an external system for integrations. Okay, these are the issues that you have in your infrastructure as a service. Then comes your platform as a service. Here, the technologies that these service providers will give you will have everything. Like they'll give you a basic platform as well. On top of it, you can build your application. I would say the best example is your force.com license of Salesforce. Here, what will happen is you don't have to install anything. You open your laptop, connect your laptop to your internet, start building your application if you have a license in Salesforce. That is what the service provider will say. Okay, so you don't have to install any softwares, you don't have to install any middlewares, you don't have to worry about your RAM size, hardware size, hard disk size, or the graphic cards. All nothing is required. You have a laptop, even if it is having a very basic configuration, that is completely fine. It should have internet. That's it. You can start using it, and you have to build your own applications and set up your own data. The last one is this data structure. Okay, the last one is a service provider, which comes under software as a service. Here, along with the license that you are getting from the service provider, they will give you some standard set of applications which are available in the market. For example, a sales application, or it might be a service application, or it might be a marketing application. These set of applications, which are well defined at the market standards, will be given for free along with your licenses and some extra automation features as well. And then they'll say this Salesforce is the best example here. So Salesforce will say, hey, you want to build an application? Yes, come to our organization. Come to our organization, buy the license, start building the application. But if you are going to the sales application, just try out the sales application that I have given you along with the license. If you feel like you are using the same process, you can start using it. Or if you want to customize it, you can customize it. Or if you want to build your own, you can build it on your own as well. Why? Because you are going with higher license of Salesforce, that is on which you will have the inbuilt platform, which is a force.com platform, which is already enabled on the system. So why should I customize the sales application? Because even if the technology is giving me a standard application, I may not follow the same process. Sales process differs from organization to organization, right? Some people or some organizations, for example, if you go with Mercedes Benz, they don't have to do an advertisement in the market. People will run behind the car, right? But the same thing, if you come to this Renault or Swift and all, whenever they are launching a model, they have to throw a lot of advertisements. Unless until they advertise the product in the market, people won't get to know about it. Why? Because of the market standards that they follow, or because of the quality that they follow, or maybe it might be about the customers, right? So it does, even if they are into the same industry, automobile industry, or even if you are in the banking industry, you don't have to follow same marketing standards or the sales process that the other organizations are following. So that is why Salesforce says that if you want to customize it, you can customize it, or you can build your own application, or you can use the existing application itself. Okay, and these are a couple of examples. Like even the one that we are using, GoToMeeting, comes under software as a service. What is the software as a service? Here, a software is built by an external person or an organization and given to you as a service through internet. Okay, now, so this is one of the biggest advantage in using Salesforce. Next one is, by default, Salesforce supports CRM, which is customer relationship management. So CRM is not a technology or not even an application. It is just a process which will help you how to connect or how to have a healthy relation with my customers. First thing, why should I have a healthy relationship with my customer? Because unless until I'm providing a good service to all my customers, I won't have a good name or I won't get a goodwill. Unless until I get a goodwill, I can't sustain in the market, right? So let us say I have provided that uh, to Balaji that I'll give around 4 to 5 different services for free when he bought a car in my showroom, and I've given some assurance that if something gone wrong, I will be taking care. Now, at the last service or third service, when Balaji came, I said, like, Balaji, you are delayed for a bit, a day or a half a day. You have to, I'm gonna charge it for this. So this will be very surprising for Balaji, just because the date is already the date that I have mentioned is already there. It's still there under the period of free service and all, but I'm not giving it. So he might fight for a day or two, and later he'll say, okay, there is no point in fighting with this guy. So he paid me and did the service, went off. But next time, when someone else is buying a car from my showroom, if he is a friend of Balaji, he'll say, hey, don't buy a car in Ram's showroom. Looks good, but he is not the right person to get it, right? Why? Because I kept a false promise. It's not just because of that, like maybe some other perspectives, right? So, but CRM is the process which will tell me, because see, I might have done this intentionally. Maybe I might have forgot that. But if I'm following the CRM process, right, that will tell me when should I interact with the customer, how should I provide the service in time. All these things will be given, and Salesforce strictly follows this CRM process. And that is where it is going with a new product. It is already having a new product called Customer 360, wherein which you will have a bird eye view on a customer. Either it might be sales, or it might be service, or it might be a success community, or marketing, or even you have commerce applications like you have Amazon. Even in Salesforce, also you can build your own websites and you can start selling the products to the market. And it doesn't mean that you should have a customer all the time to build an application, and for Salesforce applications. It is there across many industries. So it's there in education industry, like Stanford, bigger universities like Stanford is using it. It's there in farmers. Hetero is using it. It's there in banking sectors. Citigroup is using it. I'm not speaking just about Citibank. Citigroup is using it, which will include financial sectors, financial broking sectors, real estates, everything. Especially widely used in now your US, and it's even there in multiple other organizations as well. And I'm not just speaking about the well-known bigger organizations. It's being used even in smaller organizations like as well. Why? Because Salesforce has very wide range of licenses, which starts from somewhere around $8 per month per user to $10,000 per month per user. Based on your requirement, you can vary your license. And most of the organizations who are using Salesforce have seen there is a growth of 40% in their profits after using Salesforce. Why? Because first thing is it is based on cloud, so I don't have to bother about that servers, all these things. And paying a minimal amount for the license, I can make use of it. Second thing, security. Everything is already taken care by the system. So yes, this is another advantage. Third advantage, which is the most biggest advantage of Salesforce, is it follows the CRM process. And the last one is user interface. The user interface that is there in Salesforce is much more easier, like the way that you use your Facebook. If you know how to use Facebook, or if you know how to use your LinkedIn, then it is very easy to use Salesforce as well. Either it might be for the admin to start learning, or it might be for the people who are using this application as an end user. As you're all from India, I mean, looks like one of the well-known application to book your tickets, that is Redbus, is widely using Salesforce. And It is a multi-tenant aware Salesforce. Why? Because even if you are taking a space, basically you will be using the shared resources like securities or the storage spaces and all. But it doesn't mean that you can share your data with other organizations also. So you will have your own limitations. So let us say if you are from Infosys, you will be using your space. And let us say if I'm working for maybe Deloitte, so my organization will have another dedicated space in the same server where I have to use it. Okay. And now, if you go to the previous first slide, that is building an application, the legacy platform, here you have to take all these steps, all these precautions to build your application, right? Which will easily take minimum of 1 year. But the moment you start using Salesforce, the moment I get an idea, get the license, start building the application. And one of the best advantage of Salesforce is it by default Salesforce supports any gadgets of the end users. Either it might be a desktop or a laptop, tab, or a mobile. Okay. I don't have to bring on the web designers and all. Just by doing some smaller tweaks, I can enable the entire application even on mobile as well. And this is how the take I mean, as I don't have to take care of anything, I can happily concentrate on building my application, and which can be done in a couple of weeks these days. So most of the applications that you build on Salesforce are short and sweet, maybe for a quarter or a 2 quarters, and you do have applications where you have to build a very lengthy as well, like depending on the size of the application and process that you follow in your organization. Okay, he is the CEO of the Salesforce. Actually, this should not come here. Sorry, this slide is misplaced. Sorry. Next thing, as everyone knows, that when if you're using your Apple or I mean iPhone or your Android phones, so if I want to communicate with one of my friends or let's say a group of my friends every day, what I'll do is I will simply install WhatsApp, create a group, add them, and do the conversations, right? So I can do the same job by building my own application, asking my friends to install the same application in their mobiles and start doing it. But why should I go for WhatsApp? Why? Because it is easier and it will take lesser time to start using it. Right? I don't have to spend 6 months or 1 year to build that just for doing conversations. And on top of it, it is for free, right? So why? How do I get this? If I'm having an iPhone, so I will go to App Store and download it. Or if I'm having an Android phone, I will go to Play Store and download it and start using it. Similarly, Salesforce has a marketplace called AppExchange, wherein which, based on your requirement, you can go to your market space and search for that requirement, see if there is any application which is already built by someone else. See, for example, if you go to if you're downloading WhatsApp, it does WhatsApp doesn't mean that it is built by iPhone or Apple, right? It's not an Apple product, or it's not even a Google product, right? It is built by some XYZ organization and partnered with your Android or your Apple and deployed it in your iPhone, I mean, in your app stores or Play stores, and you are using it. Similarly, there are a lot of applications which are built by the different organizations and deployed it in AppExchange. This is the place where we can exchange our applications either for free or you can charge. And by the way, your the keyword, I mean, Play Store is a basically is a copy from the App Store, right? And you know where this App Store came from? Whose idea belongs to this guy? He is the one who has registered App Store already, and he has gifted this to Apple. You can search for a story of Mark Benioff and App Store. There you'll get to know that he has gifted this to Apple because he is the friend of CEO of Apple. And then he came up with another word called AppExchange, which means this person is already having a vision of having multiple things. For example, coming to the trust, so securities. From past 4 or 5 years, if you remember, when you're trying to access your Google accounts or your Facebook or LinkedIn from a new system, it will always ask you to send you give provide a verification code, right? But that was there in Salesforce from very long time before 2010, or I think it's in 7 or 5. So even if I know your credentials in Salesforce, I won't be able to log into your system unless until I give a verification code which is sent to your personal mobile number or your registered email ID. Similarly, if I want to extract some data from your organization, again, I need to have something called security token, which is a combination of 18 characters, which is impossible to hack. That is the reason, right from the day 1999 till date, there is no data breach in Salesforce. That is what they'll always stress upon one point called trust with their customers. It is pretty sure that there won't be any data breach in Salesforce because of the securities that they follow. Okay, and now, let us say I built an application, pushed it into an app store or maybe a play store. It is very easy because no one tells me anything, and other people, if they want, they can use it. But in Salesforce, as these app exchange products are already using by their existing customers who have already paid for the licenses and all, Salesforce won't allow you to deploy your products to app exchange blindly. You have to speak with this AppExchange team where they'll do a review of your application at least for 2 to 3 months by using your application and checking the entire features of security. It might come under security, it might come under design policies, it might come under schema design, or it might come under UI design. If your application passed all these tests conducted by this app exchange team, then only they will allow you to deploy your application. Which, because as I told you, they are mainly concerned about the data security about their customers. Okay, and till date, actually, they have we have more than 5,000 applications which are already installed. This slide is little older, and 6 million, sorry, not six, I think 7.5 million applications, sorry, 7.5 million installs has been already done in Salesforce. Now, doesn't mean that you have to get a job. Even if you have a very good idea in the business, you can start your own organization by just deploying that application in the App Exchange. Because just by building one single application, I do know that there are organizations which are surviving for more than 5 years in the market just by building one small application, because of the revenue that is generated by this app exchange. Because if the number of users using your application is getting increased, then you will keep on getting money, right? The revenue. That is how it works. And this is the economy. So again, go with this. I think this is better. So Salesforce started somewhere around 1999 and it got acquired lot many organizations, and now it is $18 billion company or $18.5 billion company as of now in 2021, and they target us within 4 or 5 years they will double the revenue. But one of you might ask, okay Ram, why do I need this? What if Salesforce is generating revenue? How does it matter? It won't give anything to me, right? Yes, of course, but it will give you an opportunity to grow your technical, your career as well, right? So, for example, uh, I'm not pointing out any technology, okay, but I mean, lot many people who cross train to Salesforce are mainly from SAP, Civil, Java, .NET and all. Why? Why? Because the technology that they worked is came to a saturated point and it is falling down day by day in the market. So eventually I have to shift to a new technology where it has good standards in the market. That is where they came to Salesforce. Now again, if the same thing happens with Salesforce, of course it might happen. Then I might have to go to another technology. But if the technology that I'm working is growing like anything day by day, then I'll be definitely having a good growth in my life, right? So if it is trying to generate, if it is going to generate this much amount of revenue, which means that they have very broad plans of growth. And by the way, Salesforce is unlike any other technology. Salesforce is not just growing vertically; it is expanding horizontally as well. It is into multiple areas. It is into robotics as well, or it is into Einstein as well, where in which you will get artificial intelligence, and it is into marketing. Like there are some products which the Salesforce has acquired very recently, not very recently, around 4 5 years back. So they are growing like anything. So which means if your technology are growing, definitely you will have a very good career. And if you see this slide, as of their expectation is that by 2024, if I'm not wrong, they are planning to generate around 5.5 million jobs across the world. So now just imagine how hot the technology as of now. I am not insisting you to just learn this. I'm just giving you the real figures that you can search it even in Google also post our sessions. Okay, so this is about it, and let me just give me a minute. I'll just share you the course content as well. Okay. This is what the course content that you are going to learn. You will discuss about admin and development. So admin of Salesforce is not the definition of admin of Salesforce is very much different when you compare with any other technology, because here an admin can do many things apart from just looking into the user securities. By using point and click features which is available in Salesforce, you can build an application, you can run some automation rules, and you can share the records or share the entire data, or you can even build your own tables and set up the relations as well. Apart from that, you can create the reports to analyze the system. All these things can be done just by learning admin concepts, wherein which you doesn't need any prerequisites. You don't have to learn any technology to learn the admin part of Salesforce. But as you are just going with point and clicks, there will be some limitations in your admin part. So to overcome those limitations, we will go with development. This is the place where we need to discuss about a lot of custom user interface concepts and custom server concepts. We call them as Apex, which is originated from Java, which means you have to learn or you should be aware of object-oriented programming of Java, at least that, and then a very basics of JavaScript functions and CSS and HTML. So if I'm saying that you have to know what is OOPS and all, you should be aware of just what is a class, what do you mean by a method, what is an interface, how do I invoke one method to another method, all these basics. And then anyways, I'll be giving you a demo on that as well, so to make sure you are getting a proper clarity. Apart from that, CSS, like how do we store stylings and JavaScript functions, you should understand what is a function, how do I create a variable, how do I invoke from one function to another function. That it will come on the go. Only thing is, you should be, if you are aware of basics of Java, that is more and more than enough. But if you are strong enough in Java, then definitely entire development features will be like a cakewalk for you. Now, this is very clear that you are going with development to overcome the limitations of your admin, which means a developer must learn admin first. And if you go to the market, obviously, as a developer, I know both. I can do the activities of admin and the development as well. So now you can choose which one will be easier to get a job. Right? Basically, when you are switching a technology, you should know, like, first thing that I should always look into is how easily can I get the job if I learn this. So if you learn both, then it will be very easy. And I'm not saying that you won't get any jobs in the admin part. You do get, but the ratio is like 10 is to 4, 10 is to 3 and all in the market. Like if I'm looking for 6 developers, then I'll look for only 2 to 3 admins. And especially if you're in India already and looking for a job in India, don't even think about admin positions. Okay. So you know about markets in India, right? So we'll always look for high most of the time. Okay. So that is all about the course. Any questions as of now? Anyone? And next thing is, so we will be getting free editions of Salesforce to practice. So you don't have to wait for me. And we'll see in the next session, we'll see the basic screens of Salesforce. And instead of just blindly going into this applications, or sorry, this features, right? We'll discuss about one standard application on a simple Excel sheet. I mean, which means we'll discuss the application such a way that how it's going to happen in your time projects as well. So we'll build a small schema on a simple Excel by looking into the process of that application. Basically, an application is nothing but a collection of certain data in certain tables with a well-defined process by an organization, right? We'll do the same thing here also. We'll discuss about the process of that application, and we'll design a very basic schema in an Excel sheet by just adding the tables and columns, and then we'll see what are the relations that you might need, or what are the automations that you might need, what are the validations that you have to do. All these things by building it slowly from scratch in your Salesforce logins from day one itself. So that by end of the which means every feature that I'm going to discuss will try to implement the same feature in the same application. Maybe I will do one example of that feature on the same application, and I'll ask you to build at least 2 to 3 more examples at your home on the same application, or it might be different, so that the concepts will be cleared and you'll get to know where you're applying. And at last, you'll get to know for every requirement in Salesforce, you are maybe even other technologies also, I think it's the same. You will have at least 3 to 4 different solutions. And to make you unique in the market, you should be in a position to judge what is the best solution. So at the end of the sessions, you will be in that place for sure. I can guarantee that. And the last one is about the certifications. So you have to do either admin or development certification. It is up to you. But I will make sure I can guarantee you that you can do either of these certifications post our sessions for sure. Okay. Any questions by anyone?
Yeah. What is the time period of this course?
Somewhere around 40, 45 sessions. I mean, I'm not giving you a concrete number because the number might increase or might decrease also. It depends. On the average is around 40, 45 days on an average.
Including development and development, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I have a question here.
Sorry.
Okay, the question is that uh, is this for what kind of role you are aiming? Architect or
Uh,
administrator?
so I'll aim for a developer itself, even if I'm starting a admin course, because see, if I want to learn development, right, I should know all pros and cons of admin. So first we have to target that. Once that is done, then only we can go with the development. Because to Salesforce has one keyword that it says that unless until the solution cannot be done in admin, it will never ask you to go with the development. Okay. For example, there is something called validations. I can do the validations using trigger, which is a custom concept of which comes under development. So if I'm not able to do the same job and in your validation rule, then only I'll go with the trigger. Or if the user interface which is given by Salesforce is not at all accepted by the by the end user, which is most of the cases, then only I'll go with the components of development. So first of all, I should know what I can do, what I cannot do in the admin part. Then only we'll go with the development. Ultimate goal will always into the developer role. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Question is that during this demo,
Hmm.
we are focusing on which domain or customer CRM or what is the domain we are going to take a
Okay.
consideration, take the examples
So
during the
I
session.
spoke about the customer perspective, but you are the person who is supposed to build this application, right? So I'm not focusing at the customer
Okay,
domain. I'm
I will frame the question differently. If I want to build application for the retail segment, supply chain, okay, then I need to be very concepts with respect to the retailer. Okay. And then compared to the finance level, like a finance type of applications or whatever functions, I was like very
platform. I understood. The platform that is given by Salesforce is same. It might be a retail application, or it might be a financial broking sector application, or it might be an application which is used by your oil and gas sector. Whatever it is, the platform is same. Okay, using the
okay.
same
Can you
platform
go?
will
Okay. Can you go to your PPT? One more slide forward. There is a circle for the marketing something. See one slide.
yes.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
see here? Yes. So here they say customer 360 is a what you call generic name. They call it as all the applications are there. You can pull which application you would like to see. Suppose if I want to build a Salesforce app for the marketing team, I can enable the marketing as my license, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Yes.
Right. So similarly for the if I want to sell my products online or in mobile, that time they will choose the commerce as a enabler for the Salesforce 360 app. So similarly, now during the Excel file course of context, we will be taking examples from the which of these application.
Sorry. Okay. See, at least in the session, right? So I'll be discussing more on the force.com platform. Second thing, we'll be discussing about sales
Uh-huh.
and service as well, because these are given at the free level every edition. Okay. So
Okay.
what you going to do, because sales and services is already set up. So there are some
Okay.
automation rules available uh, at the sales application and even in the sales service application. I, I'm sorry, yeah. If you are speaking, you can.
Mhm.
Hello,
Hello, Ram, are you there?
I'm there, but you're not audible.
Yeah. There was a network lag over there. I could not able to say while to last sentence.
Uh, Actually, I lost you again. Sorry to say that. Hello.
Hello, am I able now?
Yeah. Or
I
Chandra, you can
drafted my
type in the
question.
chat window.
Yes, I have already typed in the chat window.
See, Salesforce not speaking just about the freshers, because ideally I know, like when you are switching a technology, you will always say that you will have 5 years experience or 6 years experience already on the course. So I should make sure that you are going with the same. I mean, even if you are saying that, say, I experience in the market, you should be aware of, or you should be able to prove that experience in the interview, especially. So I'll make sure I'll be taking care of by discussing about each and every feature that you might need in different areas of the application. Okay.
Okay. I would like to have
Hey Ram, this is Swami.
One second, Swami. Yes, Chandra, that is where I told you, like, right from day one, we will discuss the process first before you design, jump into the structure. Okay. So first we'll discuss about the application process that we are going to build, application along with this process. Based on that process, we'll design the schema at the base level, which is very important for the application. And from there, we'll start constructing. So of course, the job might be done by the developer, but entire schema, design preparations, all these things will be done only by an architect. Okay. Swami, can you go ahead now? Sorry.
Hey, when you say that by the end of the course, we will be, you will guide us or suggest us how to do the certification. Can you elaborate on that, please?
Yeah. So basically, I won't take a separate session on the certification. Um, so during the daily sessions, whatever the features that I'm discussing, right? For example, I've discussed about a workflow automations today. So tomorrow, first 5 to 10 minutes, I'll discuss about multiple questions on that, which I have already given the assignments, which includes the way the question comes on your interviews, or it might be it will include the way that you will get the questions in your certification as well. So that I'll make sure to cover up all the areas of your the questions that might come under your certification. And at the same time, at the end, I'll tell you, like, I'll show you some websites wherein which uh, you'll get to know the patterns of the question. I'm not saying that I'll give you the dumps, because dumps are not, I mean, I won't trust dumps first of all. But at the end of the day, when you're going with an exam, right, if you know what kind of pattern the exam will have, at least if you know got to know about the previous questions, then it'll be easier for you. So I'll guide you over there. But before that, I'll make sure you're strong on the concepts, because what will happen is, in any of the certifications in Salesforce, you will have around 65 questions, out of which you have to clear 43 questions in the exam, and all are multiple choice questions, and there is no negative marking. So, but the problem is, in this multiple choice questions, either they might ask you for give one answer or multiple answers also. There are questions where you might give three options also for one question. So we'll discuss in that way. And
Thank you.
then, yeah, anything else by anyone?
I thought the demo would be today. The demo would you'll show some how to access the Salesforce site, and there you would show something. So will we have any other demo session again, or is
No,
it
that
just one?
will be from the next session. That will be done from your end itself. I won't be sharing my screens from the next session. So I will ask you people to share your screens. I'll ask you to uh, sign up for Salesforce. I'll discuss everything on your screens itself right from day one. It's like, at least in the admin part, more or less, this will be the last, I mean, first and last session that I will be sharing my screen. Every day, one of you will be sharing your screen, implementing it in the session during the session itself. Why? Because definitely for all you people, you came here because you are not aware of sales. First thing, right? Second thing, if because especially in the admin part, right, it is all about navigations. So as I'm already working in Salesforce, I might go a little faster, or if I'm going, I may not do some mistakes. But when I'm asking you people to do it, definitely you'll do some mistakes, right? That will be easier to learn actually. So that is where it might be a little slower. I do understand at the initial days, but going forward, it will be very easier for you. So I'll pick random person in the sessions every day. They'll be sharing the screen, and it will be easier for me also whether you are following the sessions or not. This is how the session, at least the way that I take. Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Next.
Ram, yeah, Ram, am I audible? Hello.
Yeah, Balaji, go on.
Yeah, sorry, Ram. I think I'm not audible. Yeah, actually, Ram, I'm primarily focusing on Lightning because I have some knowledge on admin and development. I have little knowledge. I mean, I have some knowledge, um, but I need some practice on it as well. But my primary focus on Lightning. How far you are? I mean, what are the concepts you are covering in Lightning, and and also, are you be covering any basics of JavaScript and these kind of things, right? For I mean, Lightning development.
Okay. So basically, there is no classic in this sessions because classic is no more used in any organizations. So it's all about lighting itself. Either it might be admin part or it might be the development part. So we'll discuss each and every inch of your Lightning components, the Aura bundles. It might be your JavaScript controllers or helpers. It might be your CSS or invoking your Apex from your JavaScript. All these things will be covered.
Okay. Daily is a 1 hour session or a 2 hour
Yeah,
session?
mostly it's a 1 hour session.
Okay.
Thank you, Ram. Talk to you later.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thanks
Thanks.
everyone.
Thanks.
Ayal,
Bye.
thanks for joining the demo. This is Vijay from Career Writing.
Thank you.
Batch start details will be sent to your mails. Please check your mails. By end of the day, we'll be sending demo recording and content and batch start details. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thanks.